It started with a coffee cup, not the fancy china we got as wedding gifts that's still sitting in the cabinet untouched, just a plain blue mug with a chip on the handle that she used every single morning for 37 years. After she passed, I couldn't bring myself to use it, so it just sat in the cupboard. But yesterday, I was reorganizing the kitchen, something to do with my hands, and I found a small piece of paper tucked inside that cup. It was her handwriting, just 4 words: "I miss talking to you."
I stood there holding that note for I don't know how long. It wasn't dated. Could have been from last year, could have been from 20 years ago. And that's what broke me, because I honestly couldn't tell the difference. We were married for 53 years. 53 years of living in the same house, sleeping in the same bed, sitting across from each other at breakfast and dinner. And somewhere in all those years, I forgot that being in the same room isn't the same as being together. I thought providing was loving. I thought consistency was devotion. I thought as long as I showed up, I was doing my part. She tried to tell me. God, she tried. I remember one evening, must have been 1985 or 86, we were sitting in the living room after dinner. I had the newspaper. She was knitting something, I can't remember what, and out of nowhere she said, "When's the last time we just talked?" I looked up from the sports section and said, "We're talking right now." She put down her knitting, gave me this look I didn't understand at the time, and said, "No, William, when's the last time you asked me something you didn't already know the answer to?" I thought she was being dramatic. I went back to my paper, she went back to her knitting, and we never talked about it again. But she remembered. She must have remembered, because she wrote it down and put it in her cup, the cup I filled every morning for 37 years without ever asking her how she slept, what she was thinking about, what she was afraid of, what made her happy anymore. There were so many moments like that, little comments I brushed off. You never look at me when I'm talking. I'd say I was listening, didn't need to stare to hear. You used to ask about my day. I'd say we were past that stage. We knew each other too well to need updates. Sometimes I feel like I live alone. I'd remind her I was right there, wasn't I? Always right there. And I was. Physically, I was always there. I never worked late, never missed dinner, never forgot an anniversary or a birthday. I thought that was what mattered. I thought love was reliability. Show up, pay the bills, fix what's broken, mow the lawn, take out the trash. I did all of it, every day for 53 years, and I thought that was enough.
But here's what I didn't do. I didn't ask her about the book she was reading. I didn't notice when she changed her hair. I didn't ask why she seemed sad on Tuesday afternoons, or what she and her sister talked about on their phone calls, or what she dreamed about at night. I didn't ask if she was happy. Not once in 53 years did I ever ask my wife if she was happy. I thought I knew. I thought if something was wrong, she'd tell me directly. But she did tell me, over and over. She just didn't use the words I was listening for. She said it when she suggested we take a walk, and I said I was too tired. She said it when she asked if I wanted to hear about her doctor's appointment, and I said, only if it's serious. She said it when she tried to show me something funny in the newspaper, and I told her I'd read it later. She was saying it constantly. I just never heard it. After she died, I found a journal in her nightstand. I almost didn't read it, felt like an invasion of privacy even though she was gone. But I did, and there were pages and pages about our life together. The funny thing is, she didn't write about me being a bad husband. She wrote about missing me. Missing conversations we used to have when we were young. Missing the man who used to ask her questions and wait for the answers. Missing being seen. There was one entry from our 40th anniversary. I'd taken her to a nice restaurant, bought her flowers, told her she looked beautiful. She wrote, He did everything right today. But when the waiter asked about our love story, William answered for both of us. He talked for 10 minutes about how we met, where we got married, where we lived, and I sat there smiling, and I realized he doesn't know my version of the story. He's never asked for it. I remember that dinner. I remember being proud of myself for making reservations at the good place downtown, for remembering flowers, for making a whole evening of it. And I never knew she sat across from me, feeling invisible. The worst part is, I can't even say I was a bad man. I never raised my voice, never cheated, never lied or gambled or drank too much. I paid the mortgage on time for 47 years. I drove her to every single one of her mother's funerals. I held her hand when she was scared before surgery. I did everything a good husband is supposed to do. Everything except the one thing she actually needed. She needed me to be curious about her, to still wonder who she was, what she thought, how she felt. To see her as someone worth discovering, not someone I'd already figured out in 1972 and filed away as known. She needed me to understand that people aren't static, that the woman I married at 23 wasn't the same woman sitting across from me at 63. And I never noticed. I never asked.
That note in the coffee cup destroyed me, because I miss talking to you means at some point we did talk, really talk, and then we stopped, and she noticed, and I didn't. She lived with that absence every day while I went about my business thinking everything was fine. I'm 81 years old now. My wife has been gone for 3 years, and I finally understand what she was trying to tell me for 40 years. She didn't need me to fix things or provide things or even do things. She needed me to see her, to ask questions, to stay curious, to treat her like someone worth knowing every single day, not just in the beginning when I was trying to win her over. I thought love was about being steady, being reliable, being there. And those things matter, but they're not everything. You can be there and still be absent. You can share a life with someone and still leave them lonely. And by the time I understood that, she was already gone. If you're married or in love or share your life with someone, please hear what I couldn't. Don't just ask how their day was. Ask how they're doing, what they're thinking about, what worries them, what excites them, what they need that they're not saying out loud. Look at them when they talk. Put the phone down, close the laptop, turn off the TV. See them, really see them. Because one day you'll be standing in a kitchen holding a coffee cup with a note inside, and you'll realize that the person you loved most in the world spent decades trying to reach you, and you just kept reading the newspaper. I'd give anything for one more morning, just one, not to say the perfect thing or do some grand romantic gesture, just to ask her a question and actually listen to the answer, to look at her, to make her feel like someone worth talking to. But I can't. All I have is this cup, this note, and the crushing understanding that I had 53 years to figure this out, and I didn't. Don't wait until it's too late. Don't let the person you love become so familiar that you stop seeing them. Don't mistake routine for connection. Don't assume that because you're there, you're present. Because you can spend a whole lifetime next to someone and still never really be with them. And that's the loneliest thing in the world.